Why do we spend countless hours and dollars out in our shop working on our cars, tinkering with our boats, putting together our motorcycles? I've always been curious what it is behind all of it. So I'm going to go out and talk to some people. And we're going to find out why.
The majority of our big builds are all designs. So it's just like building a house. First thing you start, blueprints, design, right? We gotta get a vision. So the customer come tell us what he wants. Bring me a folder, bring me a bunch of pictures, bring me a bunch of magazines, show me the wheels you like, show me the cars you like, show me everything you like, and then we'll go from there.
The difference right away you can see is its flavor.
Yeah.
So what we're doing, we're giving the car a different look. What's kind of like we did the Mustang a little bit, there's been so much done to these Camaros, like what can you do to change them up?
Kind of like the 32 Ford.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, so I look at this as being the new 33 and 32 Ford car.
Yeah.
You run LS1s through LS9s in them, and then plus you can do whatever you want to them, but you're talking a car basically 380 horsepower all the way up to, you can make them 2,000 horse.
Yeah.
This is affordable where a guy like you could afford it. You could build it
Now
yourself.
I make $10 an hour.
Well, you still can finance it and build it. So. But anyway, the goal is to build a car, to have a car where people can buy these cars for, basically kit form is going to be around $50,000.
That ain't bad.
No.
Considering what you're going to be getting.
Yeah, exactly.
And that includes the chassis and the body.
Includes the chassis and the body and all the dash, the pedal assembly.
But no drivetrain.
No drivetrain, right.
Okay.
You have to buy your gunner Corvette, put your motor in there and do all that stuff. But the rest of the stuff is basically a kit form.
And so it'll
So you'll have a body, it's all tapered, all widened, floor's all done to fit our chassis. Everything else is just bolt right in there. Ooh. Center tunnel on the firewall gets modified. But the beauty about this is, a lot of people are taking C6, spindles, and they'll use the control arms and all that stuff, and they'll build all their own cradles. But what happens, you don't get the whole benefit. Because if you look at this design, what's going on here is the motor is moved back. The motor is basically 4 inches, 5 inches off the ground. So the center of gravity of the whole car is down 5 inches off the ground in the middle of the car. It's down low, it's right where you want it.
Well, and plus it looks like you can tuck all your exhaust up.
Yeah, it's basically running just like it does on the Corvette. The other beauty is we can run the stock composite springs. Car doesn't even have coilovers on it.
Wow.
So you can run them either way. You can run them with coilovers, you can run a composite spring, sometimes a combination of the two. If you got a really heavy car, so I mean, it depends on what you want to do. And we developed these narrow control arms, we're all CNC billet. And the beauty about doing these, what we do, we narrow the track width up 5 inches in the front, and we narrow it up 4 inches in the back. That way you don't have to flare the car.
Yeah.
So.
Now, are you guys having that stuff made here in Oregon?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yep.
Excellent.
Yeah, everything's made in Oregon. It's all made right here.
Wow.
So, and that's the beauty about, that's why the chassis can work. That's the reason why we can get away with using stock cradles and all that. Your Corvette's almost too wide for any car.
Yeah.
Yeah, track widths are really wide, but this allows us to do it in any car.
Wow.
The same way the 67 Camaro, actually. 67 Camaro, we offer it two ways. You do not have to flare the car. If somebody wants a stock package, this will fit under the 67, 68 Camaros without flaring the car.
Oh.
So it does not have to be flared, yeah. And run these size tires, and run the stock Corvette size tires underneath it. So you can still run huge meat.
Yeah.
But the ultimate thing is to flare them out. If you flare them out, you got a little different look, sets the car apart. Yeah. As a kid, I was always interested in how everything worked. Oh. So I was always curious how stuff was built, how did they get that shape, or how did they make that part, so.
So more along the design side of things you were more interested, or the engineering side?
Engineering, mechanical stuff.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. My first customizing car was probably when I was about 14, 15. I have older brothers, and I had an older brother that had a 55 Chevy he bought. So basically we restored that.
Awesome.
We did it and made it into a hot rod. So we did a body and paint and all that on it. And
wow.
And stuff. So yeah. I get joy out of creating. So I really do enjoy creating the cars. I enjoy working with the clients. Actually, I enjoy the challenge of having a vision and taking the client vision and trying to figure out his vision and trying to make it come to reality. So
you're in it for the challenge and also meeting new people.
absolutely.
And developing those new relationships.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Pretty much a workaholic. I would think you would say, yeah. Yeah, I'm really dedicated to the shop. Yeah, so I'm always out here. So, yeah. Well, I had a person ask me one time, what are you doing when you're not building cars? I said, well, I don't know. I'm always building cars. So
thinking about how to build a new one.
Yeah, exactly. Thinking about the next project. Probably, I think probably the same way. I do give my employees lots of freedom artistically. So, I'm the type of shop where I kind of want to treat the employees like I'm treated, where I know, because I've been in this business for 28 years. So, I worked at shops and stuff like that. And really, the guys I want need to be self-motivated. They got to have talent already. They got gasoline running through their blood, so they would love cars. So basically, I'm like a conductor in a band, if you will. So I want to give them some freedom to do their thing. I want to check on them. I want to make sure and describe to them what we want, do the final checks, but pretty much let them run with the product.
So you really strive to build like a team atmosphere where you can depend on each component or each team member to kind of put their own spin on what they're doing.
Like all my guys, I could have built this car myself. Probably almost all my guys could have built this car by themselves, but would have been the same quality or the same as it is now? No, because we have 5 brains going together here, all keeping each other in check, pushing us to that next level, if you will. So, the team's very important. It's a team project. All these cars are really, it's a talented group, if you will.
So this car would have came out differently had you just built it yourself?
Probably would have been a little different things for sure, because I wouldn't have had the input of my employees too on it. So it's everybody. You got the client input, you got my input, you got 4 other guys' input going into it. So and including the wife's input too.
Oh, really?
She actually comes out and makes lots of final. All those guys are working in here all the time. So I love to pull somebody in, like if you came in, or I'll get somebody coming off the street. Hey, I'm working on this. What do you think? And they'll come in and they'll see something because we've been working on the car so long. She'll see something or they'll see something that, well, what if you did this? Yeah. And you say, oh, wow, yeah, you're right. You know what? So, I take it in. I really try to make a car that's pleasing to everyone. And I also want to make something timeless. I think so. I think because, I want to leave a mark in the world too, as much as the client does building the car. I want to say, yeah, that was our creation. I was part of that team that helped create that car, So yeah, I would say it does.
So would this car define you?
Yeah.
As far as its articulate shape and its power plant and that whole thing. Kind of describe who you are as an individual.
Right. Well, yeah, I think so, because I want to be the best individual I can. As far as being a person, kind to others, just being, part of the population, being a, part of society, helping hopefully and doing good stuff. Same way this, I want this car to be the absolute best car it can possibly be for what it is. So I think the two go together. Automotive manufacturers, obviously.
Anyone specific?
I can't say if anyone, no, not really. I just, because I appreciate all designs. I appreciate the crazy designs all the way up to the simple designs, because I look at the work that went into it, what it actually looks like, and just for the design of the car, it's Barris stuff is out there.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy. Would I want to build something like that? Not necessarily, but I still respect it.
What, no monster coach?
Right, exactly. Yeah. But look at it, it's unique. The mind, to create all that stuff, it's just unbelievable. It's I respect it. I respect it all the way down to the home builder that, he's building just something simple, okay, he's working with what he can work with, doing what he's doing, Foos's design, Boyd's designs, let's face it, they were trendsetters, they had a lot of neat stuff too. So, I think they all inspire me. I think we all kind of feed off each other, so. Yeah, it was a memorable experience. It was actually when we were at SEMA with this year. George Barris came up to me and said, I need to have my picture taken with you. That was really a kind of an honor to have him come up and do that to me. Yeah, came to the booth and said, no, I want my pictures taken with you. This took us 11,000 hours to build. Wow. And people say 11,000 hours is a lot of hours. But what we have here is basically a working concept car. So 11,000 hours actually, I'm gonna say it's probably a third less than what this should cost.
Yeah.
Pretty much as far as hour labor. There's a lot of money in the car, obviously, but we were fortunate enough to have a client that had a vision, that shared a vision with us, and allowed us to do it. And we are very lucky because without the right client or without a guy that has trust in you, there's no way we could ever build a car. That kind of money, I think it needs to be able to run with a Lambo and Enzo and a stock GT and all that. With this car will do, no problem. So it'll run with the best of them all day long. This car weighs 3,800 pounds. Okay, and that's empty. So full tank of gas, you can figure about 3,900 pounds, right around there. The weight distribution is it's 1,800 on the front, 2,100 on the back.
So dang near 50-50.
Yeah. Well, it's actually absolutely perfect because you got about, this is 45, 55, it's probably more like about 48, 55, or 50, somewhere around there. But the neat part about it, so you got just a little more weight in the back, so it's like a Porsche. It's actually a little bit better than a Porsche because the Porsche is a little more heavy on the ass end. Yeah. So you're between a Vet, a GT, the weight ratio is right there. It's absolutely perfect. It hooks out the go rear. Now the other thing is, that's a pretty light for this car. This car has, full interior, stereo, air conditioning, 21-gallon tank. It's steel and aluminum. The wheels, big brakes, big wheels. So it's not the lightest car in the world, but all the weight is, again, about 5 inches off the ground. And it's in the center of the car again. So the car really handles. It's really stout, and it just holds up. There's no problem with it. Another interesting thing I can show you is you can take this car, you can jack it right there and lift all 3 wheels off the ground and there's no flexing whatsoever.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So that's saying something because a lot of the times that chassis can have a little bit of flex.
No, our chassis, the deal with our chassis, even the chassis of these would be the same thing. Our chassis is designed so you do not need a roll bar to incorporate the strength of the car. All the strength is in the chassis.
It's already there.
All the weight is down on the ground. It's kind of a different concept. A lot of people don't really get it right off the hand when we first talk about it until they drive the cars or they experience.
Get out and actually feel.
Yeah, and they feel how solid the cars are. Why isn't it twisting? Why isn't it creaking?
so if I ever make any money,
There you go.
that's what Joey want.